Hello, just going to demonstrate some of the features on WMCCM. And so now we're at the site and we've registered and we've logged in. We can go to the directory and we can search for capability in companies. So we can search by processes, by skills, keywords, location. So for example, if we're looking for a company with maybe CNC capability, we can type in CNC there and search, and we will find all the companies that are in the database that have CNC capabilities. So we can see that currently it's telling us there are 104 companies in the database. And if we pick one of those companies, say Ascot Precision Tooling, and click on that, we can get a detailed description of the capabilities and of the company. So it says, for example, that their key processes are CAD/CAM mechanical design, CNC eroding, CNC machining, CMM, etc. So we have a process of searching for companies by their capability. This is all brought together in the partner search function here. So just as a kind of example, imagine that we were trying to put together a supply network to make ventilators. But let's say that what we need to make ventilators is some assembly and fabrication capability. So let's say we need some metal fabrication and some plastic fabrication capability. Let's say that also we need some machining capability. And let's say we need some CNC milling to make those ventilators. And maybe we need some metal forming and press work. So basically any component or systems that we want to make, we identify what capabilities would be required to make them, and then we choose those capabilities on our system. Once we've picked all the capabilities we think are required, we can move to the next step. And what the system does then is go to the database and pick out the companies that are in the database that have that capability. So this is fabrication metal here, and these are all the companies that have metal fabrication capability. These are all the companies, for example, with CNC milling capability. And these are all the companies with metal sheet bending, because those are the capabilities we selected. Now at this stage, what we can do, again, we can click here and go and look at the details of the company and make sure that they can do what we want. For example, Acorn hip flasks, I know, is not really suitable, and also Marlborough giftware is not really going to be suitable. So at this stage, we can remove the companies that we're not interested in, or conversely select the companies we're further interested in. And then we can go and say, look, we'd rather work with companies that are in the West Midlands area. We can say we'd rather work with companies that have particular quality standards. So we can select particular quality standards that ideally we want those companies to be qualified for. We can also pick example companies that have experience in particular markets. Now, for a ventilator, we're probably looking for healthcare. I don't actually know if healthcare exists there. Legal jewelry, hydraulic heating, health medical. So we can say we prefer companies with experience of health medical. And then we can add in other criteria, but if we click next step, then what the system has done, it takes in our preferences and capabilities, and it recommends a partnership that could make those ventilators. So this company, SCG Solutions, who've got capability in metal fabrication, plastic fan, fume scrubbers and mist eliminators, got fabrication in plastics. Premier Group, who's got metal sheet bending, and Press Feeds and Tooling, who can also do metal sheet bending and their capabilities. We can click on their names and go and look in a bit more detail at what their capability is. And if we don't like any of the suggestions, for example, we don't want to this company here that's supplying plastic fabrication, we can remove those from the list of possible partners and pick an alternative one. These are the alternatives. Let's say Insignia Fabrications, we can add those. And now what we can do is hit contact, and what the system will do is create an email to those companies where we can say, look, are you interested in working together with us to make these elements? So we basically put together, by considering capability, a complete supply network for almost any product. There are currently about 400 companies that have been profiled for capability, but altogether on the system with registered companies, there are well over 14,796 companies that are registered there. We can also pick companies through a map on the system. The map is not quite do it, but we can look to see where, for example, companies that can do casting, molding, and forging are. And we can see who they are, for example. Or we can see companies that can do machining. And these are the green ones, then are added as machining capability. And we can click on the names and get detailed instructions, detailed information about those companies. So that's some of the functionality in WMCCM that I wanted to highlight.